He's got videos on everything from dating apps to how friendships change over time.
You know, that one really resonates with me. It's true, isn't it? As we get older, it's less about having a ton of friends and more about those deep connections.
That's like, remember college? Huge friend groups, constantly meeting new people.
Exactly. But now, I cherish the handful of friends who really get me.
Me too. And speaking of connections, Phil dives headfirst into the modern dating scene. He's got this video, How to Break Dating App Cycles and Improve Relationships.
Yeah, dating apps can be a bit of a whirlwind, right?
And Phil doesn't sugarcoat it. He talks about how we can get stuck in those cycles of swiping and surface-level chats.
But what I found interesting was his emphasis on vulnerability, like being open and honest, even early on.
And he argues that that can lead to more meaningful connections.
I think he's onto something. Being vulnerable can be tough, but how do you build trust without it? And you know what? That whole trust thing seems to be a major theme in his playlist. He has this whole series called Ready to Commit, where he breaks down how to know if you and your partner are ready for that next step.
Oh, it's a big one.
Huge! And it's not just about being head over heels in love. He talks about building trust, facing those fears that pop up when you're thinking long term. He talks about making sure you're not settling just because you're afraid of being alone, like really being honest with yourself about what you want in a partner in a relationship.
Oh yeah, that's so easy to fall into, especially if you've been hurt before. Settling almost guarantees you'll end up unhappy. And that kind of leads us to another video. Time to break up. Here's your action plan.
Okay, this one sounds a bit heavier.
It is, but sometimes we need to hear it. Breakups are never fun. But I like how he actually gives you a plan, like a roadmap for ending things with respect and clarity.
That's so important. I think a lot of people struggle with how to actually do that.
He doesn't just leave you heartbroken. He gives you tools to move forward.
And speaking of moving on, he also has a video on mending a broken heart. 20 actionable tips for healing.
I haven't gotten to that one yet. What stood out to you?
Well, he covers both the emotional and the practical. You know, self-care, finding support, letting yourself grieve. But he also talks about things like reclaiming your independence, rediscovering your passions. Like, yeah, this hurts, but you're strong and you will get through this.
Phil tackles these tough topics head on.
I agree. He doesn't shy away from the good, the bad, and everything in between when it comes to relationships.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes his channel so valuable.
Definitely. He keeps it real. He doesn't just dwell on the heavy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like moving in together. He's got this video, moving in together, top 20 mistakes to avoid. I feel like that's something every couple considering that step should watch.
I bet it's full of good stuff. What kind of things does he talk about?
Well, he covers a lot of ground. You know, finances and chores are a given. But he also gets into communication styles and even personal space.
Makes sense. Those can be tricky areas.
Definitely. He really emphasizes setting boundaries early on, which I think is so important.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of living together and forget about the practical stuff.
Exactly. And then you end up with conflicts you could have avoided.
Ugh. Yeah, no one wants that. But okay, so we've talked about the heavier relationship stuff and the practical stuff. What about the fun stuff?
Oh, he's got that covered too. He's got a video called Impress Your Crush, 20 Simple Ways to Impress Your Date.
Okay, that one sounds fun.
It is. It's full of creative ideas like planning unique dates, showcasing your talents, even mastering the art of conversation.
It's a good reminder that sometimes it's the little things that make a big difference.
Absolutely. It's not always about grand gestures.
Totally. And speaking of different approaches, he also has a video on finding a date without using an app.
Oh, yeah. I think that's so relevant these days. So many people are burnt out on online dating.
Right. It can be exhausting. So what does he suggest?
Well, he talks about joining clubs, attending social events, and just being open to conversations in everyday life, like putting yourself out there and being approachable.
Love that. You never know where you'll meet someone special.
Right. And sometimes those organic encounters are the best ones.
Totally agree. There's a video called, Are You Ready to Commit? How Do You Know? And he gives like 20 indicators you might be ready for a long-term thing.
Yeah, that one's really insightful. He talks about shared values, mutual respect, effective communication, all the important stuff. I really liked his emphasis on feeling secure and supported. You know, it's not just about the butterflies. It's about feeling like you can truly be yourself and that your partner has your back.
That's so important.
It is, and he breaks it down into concrete things to think about, which is super helpful.
So it's not just like this vague feeling. He gives you actual indicators to look for.
Exactly. And on the flip side, he has a video called Stop Obsessing Over Someone.
Okay, that's interesting. Why do you think that one's important?
Because it's so easy to get caught up in unhealthy attachments, even when a relationship isn't right for us.
Oh, I've been there. It's tough to break free from those thoughts when you're fixated on someone.
And he talks about recognizing the signs of obsession and gives tips for breaking those thought patterns.
Like what kind of tips?
He talks about self-care, setting boundaries, and finding healthy distractions, but he also emphasizes understanding why you're fixated on this person in the first place, like digging deeper and addressing the underlying issues.
So it's not just about suppressing those thoughts, it's about figuring out what's fueling them.
Right. It's about understanding yourself better.
I like that. And it's cool how he doesn't shy away from those less glamorous parts of relationships.
Totally. He acknowledges the heartbreak, the rejection, the unhealthy attachments.
It's refreshing. And okay, we got to talk about the classic relationship dilemma, losing the spark.
Of course. I haven't watched it yet, but he has a video called Losing the Spark, 20 Hacks to Get the Love Flowing Again.
I'm really curious about that one. Relationships definitely require effort, especially in the long run.
For sure. It's easy to slip into routines and forget to nurture that connection.
It's pretty amazing how much ground Phil covers in this playlist.
Yeah, it's really impressive how he manages to make it all so relatable, too.
Like it feels like he's talking directly to you, giving you real guidance and support.
Yeah, and it's not just generic advice either. He really dives into the psychology of relationships.
And gives you actual things you can do to improve your own relationships.
Exactly like I was saying earlier about setting boundaries.
Yeah.
When you move in together.
Right, or, being vulnerable when you're dating.
He gives you the tools and the knowledge to build healthier and happier relationships.
And I think what really stands out is that he doesn't shy away from the tough stuff either.
No, he doesn't. He acknowledges that relationships can be challenging.
They definitely can be.
Yeah.
But he also emphasizes the importance of communication.
And self-awareness, and just being willing to put in the work.
Because at the end of the day, relationships are a journey.
Yeah, a journey of growth and learning, with ups and downs and joys and frustrations. We can navigate all those complexities of love and connection.
And hopefully come out stronger on the other side.
Well, absolutely. Definitely check out his channel. We'll link it in the show notes.
And let us know in the comments what you thought. We'd love to hear your takeaways.
And if you found this helpful, share it with a friend who might be on their own relationship journey.